Ann Coulter will be with us next. Let's see what she thinks about the wall going up. We'll get to that in a moment on 710 WOR. Well, Ann Coulter, of course, the best-selling author. Ann Coulter's latest book, Resistance is Futile, #1 bestseller. If you haven't read it yet, you should get the book, Resistance is Futile. Get all of her books. And go to AnnCoulter.com. Follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. The president says he wants to get a lot of that wall built before the election. That should make you happy. Uh-oh.
You're just doing this to taunt me.
Well, he even said if you got to break environmental laws to build it, he said today he will pardon any worker who gets convicted of anything.
He says a lot of great stuff. I give him an A+ on the stuff he says.
All right.
Even extra credit on the stuff he says. No, what is going to save this guy is, if he can be saved, is the insanity of the Democrats. I mean, you look at him and think, oh, come on, you didn't keep any of your promises. And don't worry, I'll vote for him. But as I've said before, I voted for John McCain and Mitt Romney. That's not going to help him. It was like a miracle, his 2016 race. I was just for a column I was thinking of writing. I was looking through television transcripts from 2015 about the campaign. And, oh, my gosh, she was magnificent. What a wonderful time to be alive that was. But he hasn't done a lot of it.
Yeah, he's got plenty done. The economy is on fire. He tore up that Iran agreement, the Mexico agreement, that stupid Paris Climate Accord.
I'll give you the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay.
That was one very important promise of his, that he didn't believe all this nonsense on global warming. But if you list, not that I'm against, cutting taxes.
How come, that wasn't
a big part.
You sound so muffled. Are you in a closet or something?
No, do I? I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's actually much worse if I switch to the other phone.
Oh, okay. Well, it's okay. So,
okay, I'll get it fixed by next Wednesday. Anyway, but then you look at the Democrats, and I don't know. I mean, if Biden's falling, Biden's the only one who really has a shot here. And who knows? The Democrat base seems so totally woke. They want to do whatever Trump is for. They have to be 10 times against. No, that must be like Hitler, even if it was a position Democrats held, 5 years ago.
Would you agree it's very possible the Democratic nominee has not appeared yet?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not going to be Biden. He's a drooling, doddering old man. He doesn't even know where he is half the time. It can't be him.
Yes, but he's a charming, drooling, doddering old man. He seems likable. Let me put it that way. I do think it's possible. Weirdly, I think it's more possible for Republicans than Democrats to have, whether it's this election or in the future, to keep having candidates like Trump totally outside of Washington, because we have been so betrayed by Republican politicians over and over and over again, which is why so many people stopped voting and came out to vote for Trump. But somebody wild and different, not these people in particular, but Oprah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, somebody, a celebrity type, as opposed to that seems the Republican Party seems more amenable to that. Since Republicans care in general, seem to care more about politics and what's actually being done and aren't just voting for a team. With the Democrats, I don't know. I guess it's possible that somebody would come along, but I tend to think it's going to be Biden, which sucks since I predicted Kamala 2 years ago.
How could it be Biden? He doesn't know where he is. He's got corruption problems up and down with his son, his brother. Every Democrat hates all his past policies. How could it be him?
I think the voters won't hate his past policies, so they're not as bad for Democrats as the social justice warriors think, and they're not as good for normal Americans as many people seem to think. I mean, the crime bill, for example. I went to work for the Senate Judiciary Committee after the 1994 Republican sweep of Congress. Why did Republicans sweep Congress? Because of that moronic, quote, crime bill. What Biden's specialty is sounding like he has normal American values, like he wants to fight crime. He's very big on fighting crime. But then you actually read the details of the bill. The two main things of the crime bill, they gave a lot of money, as with Obama's, what was it? It was supposed to be like infrastructure spending, and it was just more money for public school teachers. So the federal government, recycles money through the state, sends it back to local police departments. No, actually, they're doing fine. It was just a way of attaching federal strings to local police departments. But the two other main things were the assault weapons ban, and, okay, put a pin in that, and midnight basketball. Well, it was just a BSE bill that did nothing about crime, but made it sound like he was tough on crime. So I don't know how this weighs for or against his nomination, but don't be fooled by him pretending to be a big crime fighter. Same thing with Kamala Harris, I might add. Democrats are on the side of the criminal. They do not want policies that would help fight crime. Don't worry. With all the Democrats, no matter what the title of the bill is, I promise you it will do nothing about reducing crime.
All right, but Biden is just Jeb Bush. He's the donor's choice. He'll be gone in 6 months. Look at Obama. Even Obama's pretending he doesn't really know Biden. Never didn't work with him that much. He's not for Biden.
Well, I think Biden. I can't believe you're forcing me in to play devil's advocate and defend Biden here, but I think too much is being made of that. I mean, if I were in Obama's position, let the Democrats hold the primary. You don't want to jump in right away. It would be one thing if Biden were running. I think it was pretty well known that in 2016, Obama wanted Biden to run. On the other hand, it was also quite well known that Obama hated Hillary like the rest of us.
Yeah. Hey, it looks like for the next debate, looks like a lot of people are getting eliminated right now. It looks like Gillibrand won't make it. People just didn't take to her. They kind of see she's just a cheap opportunist. De Blasio will be gone, a few others. So
I saw de Blasio on New York One this week saying that he is absolutely continuing. No, he thinks he's founded a national movement. Oh, and then, next day's headline, he's going to get rid of the gifted programs in New York public schools. This guy is like a bad idea factory.
Well, he's going to continue the campaign because he knows he couldn't care less about getting elected. He's term limited. He can't run again in New York. So this is the only way to shake down donors one last time. All the real estate guys, you have to set up a campaign for anything to collect donations. So he'll go for the next year doing this.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, if you're the big real estate guy and you need a few extra cranes, you write a big check to this presidential campaign.
Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Politics, isn't it a great business?
Yeah, so he won't get one vote, but somehow $5 million in donations came in, and he can use that money for the rest of his life. So
does it have to be used on supporting other candidates?
No, he can use it for future races, but he can use it to have a driver, a car, an office, a staff, forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. That was the practice Al Sharpton specialized in.
So a new column comes out tonight, right?
Yes, in anticipation of Labor Day. It's a fantastic column.
All right, and then make sure you follow Ann Coulter on Twitter and go to anncoulter.com. And you're on Instagram too, right? Facebook, Instagram?
Well, sort of.
All right, Twitter. Make sure you follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. That's where the real action takes place, and you'll see the new column tonight there. And get the book. Resistance is Futile. It's her latest book. It's her best book ever. #1 bestseller. Resistance is Futile by Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you. Sorry about the muffled phone.
That's okay. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. And check out the webpage. A lot of great stuff up there. Now, sleazy Joe Biden. Nobody, of course, fake news will never investigate this. Somehow his son, with this broken down hedge fund that never had an investor, suddenly gets $1 billion investment from the Chinese while Biden is vice president negotiating with China. His brother ends up becoming a zillionaire. the one time they try to investigate, watch this. Watch the ABC News correspondent try to ask Biden about this. Watch Biden run when he hears the question. And Chris Cuomo is wrong. Fredo is not like the N-word. Here's a video that will prove it. And pumpkin spice latte, it starts next week. All that pumpkin stuff starts. Well, watch this pumpkin spice latte song. It's great. It's all up on the webpage. Go to 710WOR.com/Mark. 710WOR.com/Mark.